Welcome to Our Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a world that's all around us, but one we so often take for granted. We're here to uncover the secret life of trees. You see them every single day. They're in our parks, on our streets, covering our mountains. They're just there, the backdrop to our lives. But have you ever really stopped, looked at one, and wondered, what is that thing? Because beyond the bark and the leaves, there's a whole complex, ancient story just waiting to be told. Okay, so to get that big picture, we've got to start small. Let's break it down and ask a question that's actually way trickier than it sounds. What actually makes a tree a tree? All right, so if you look it up in a textbook, the definition seems pretty straightforward. A botanist will tell you it's a tall, woody plant with one main stem. But, well, that's really just scratching the surface. Because, the real world is never that simple, is it? Talk to a gardener and they might tell you that height limit is a bit too high. Then you've got bonsai artists who would just laugh at the whole height thing. I mean, their entire art form is about creating these perfect, tiny trees, capturing the spirit of a giant in something you can hold in your hands. So on one hand, you've got these absolute giants reaching for the sky. And on the other, you have this incredible variety that just doesn't fit into our neat little boxes. It really goes to show that the whole idea of a tree is more of a spectrum than some fixed point. Okay, so if the physical definition is kind of shaky, what's the one thing that connects them all? Well, it really boils down to the two most basic drives in all of life. You've got to grow, reach for that light and those resources, and you've got to reproduce to make sure the next generation carries on. And to pull that off, a tree is basically a work of art, a masterpiece of natural engineering. So let's zoom in a bit. From the roots we can't even see, anchoring it deep in the earth, all the way up to the crown, reaching for the sun, every single part has a job to do. Let's start with the bark. It's not just some rough coating, right? It's the tree's skin, its armor. It's shielding all the living stuff inside, from bugs, bad weather, you name it. And then you've got the leaves. I mean, think about it. Each one is like a tiny, super efficient, solar-powered factory. They take sunlight, water, and CO2 and turn it into the energy that fuels the entire thing. It's amazing. So we've seen how a single tree is this biological marvel. But now let's pull the camera back. Because the story of trees, well, in a lot of ways, it's our story too. Our histories are just completely tangled up together. I mean, think about it. For hundreds of thousands of years, trees have been absolutely central to everything we do. We're talking about the very first fires that kept our ancestors warm, the wood that built our homes and cities, and yeah, even the coffee that gets you going in the morning. It all comes back to trees. But it's so much more than just practical stuff. All over the world, in almost every culture, we've looked at trees and seen something bigger, something sacred. Whether it's the bow tree, the spirit-filled baobab, or the mythical spruce, trees are just woven into the fabric of what we believe. And that connection is still here today, sometimes in ways we totally take for granted. Just think about paper. It's kind of wild, right? We've gone from worshiping trees to figuring out this incredible process to turn them into the very thing we use to write down our history and ideas. Which, of course, brings us to right now. And, well, for everything trees have given us, our relationship has gotten complicated. We really need to talk about this fragile balance that our forests are in today. Our own cleverness gave us the power to use what trees offer on a massive, massive scale. But that same power has made things messy and a lot of times pretty destructive. And this is where the real problem lies. It's a huge mismatch. A single tree can take centuries to grow, watching history pass by. But with our technology, we can take it down in just a few hours. That's the challenge we're up against. And the threats are coming from all sides, and they're all linked. You've got global warming pushing forests to their limits. You have new diseases and pests that can just tear through them. And then, of course, there's the constant pressure from overexploitation. The whole system is under stress. Yeah, it's a pretty tough picture to look at. So it all comes down to the biggest question, right? What do we do now? What's the way forward from here? Look, the answer isn't about not using trees. It's about being smart about it. The path forward has to be about conservation and really intelligent, sustainable management. We have to treat forests like the amazing, renewable resource they actually are. And here's the hopeful part. This is already happening. All over the planet, there are incredible projects and people working to protect these forests, to understand them better, and to figure out a future where we can thrive with them, not against them. There's this incredible quote that I think just perfectly captures what trees are all about, this quiet, unconditional giving. And maybe, just maybe, by understanding their secret life a little better, we can finally learn how to protect that gift for everyone who comes after us.